فرحان كالظبيل للهلولة حط السلاح وثوم حيلة نضربو شوفار هاد الليلة.
Bishut Morai Verabotai, Bishut, my son Rabbi Michael Pinto. There is a story on the Pirkei Avot. פעם אחת הייתי מהלך בדרך. He was a big rabbi, his name is Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma. According to Chachamim, this rabbi he was very, very rich. But all his life was in the yeshiva. And he said that one day he was walking and there is somebody who came and asked him, "From where are you? Who are you?" So he told him, "I am from a big city of rabbis, a big city of Chachamim." And so he told him, "Can you come?" So that man told the rabbi, "Can you come and live with us in our city? And there I will give you millions of dollars. Millions. I give you a lot of money, a lot. Just come and live with us." And the rabbi told him, "Even if you give me the whole world, I will not go to your city to live with you. Any dar ela bimkot, because I prefer to live only in a place where there is Torah. Because after death, I will have nothing to take with me. All what I will take with me there is the Torah. So all the money you can give me, it will remain here. So what can you give me? Give me something to compare to the Torah. So I will accept. But what you give me, it's not worth it, because I will not take that with me. You will give me billions of dollars. I will leave them here. How much am I going to use? Even not 1%. So thank you very much." That is the story. I had this morning in the plane, I was thinking, and I would like to ask you one question. Have you met in your life, when you walk in the street, somebody came and ask you, "Who are you?" Who are you? I mean, mind your business, who I am. I mean, what does that mean, who are you? I mean, and besides this, the rabbi answered him, "I am from a city of rabbis, a city where they learn Torah." Have you been in your life somebody that asks you, "Who are you? What do you do?" And they will answer you, "I am from Bnei Brak," and you will propose him billions of dollars if he comes to live with you? I mean, this man, I don't understand him. You meet somebody in the street that you don't know, and you ask him, "Who are you? What do you do?" He answers you, "I am from a city of rabbis." Without knowing him, you propose him, "Come to live with us," and give you billions of dollars. Have you heard? I mean, I will not say it's a ridiculous story, Has v'shalom, but it's a story that the rabbis, they wrote it in the Pirkei Avot. That means there is a message. That means there is something that you have to learn. You understand? I mean, Pirkei Avot, it's a book that the rabbis wrote it, that we can learn a lot of things from there. This morning, the plane, I was a little bit shocked. But the biggest question is, if I was me, and that man, without knowing me, asked me questions, you know what I will tell him? "Give me the money. Give me the money. I will go, and I will live with you. Give me the money." You know what I will do with that money? I will open yeshivot. I will help those who need. Why you refuse? Hey, Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, why you refuse? Accept. Go and live there. I want to give you money. Accept it. With that money, you open there a Jewish school, mikvaot, yeshivot. Yes or no? Why you refuse? Why you refuse? So this is as well. I mean, if I will say, if I see now Biusi Pikisma, I will tell Biusi, you did a mistake. Because, I'm sorry. I mean, if somebody proposed me, I will not say no. Have you heard a rabbi who come from Israel to collect money, and somebody ask him the same question, he will tell him no? He will say yes. Maybe he will stay there 2 years, 3 years, he will build the city, and then he go back. It's a mitzvah. Zikor Rabim. Why? Abotai, there is a lot of message to learn from that story. Baruch Hashem, today we are after Shavuot. Yes or no? Now, after Shavuot, we're supposed to be we receive the Torah on Shavuot. Every one of us, he received something. So now the question is, do we feel that we received something or not? If we don't study Torah after Shavuot, so that means that we don't care. That means that we did not receive nothing. Because it's impossible that Hashem, you prepared, you did not sleep all night for Shavuot, and Hashem, He give you the Torah, and what He give you, you don't use it. I mean, if you are starving and they give you food, you eat it. You don't put it in the fridge. You will eat it. If you don't eat it, then that food, you throw it away. I mean, if Hashem give you the Torah, and Hashem, He see you don't use it, He take it back. He take it back. So you will remain with nothing. It's very hard what I'm telling you, but this is the emet. This is the truth. The big test after the Shavuot, if we receive or not, it's start your own experience. Are you connected to the Torah that you receive? Do you learn? Do you wake up in the morning? Are you kovei itim la Torah? Do you fix some hours to study Torah? The Kriyat Shema, 3 times a day, we said, U'b'lechtecha b'derech, that the Torah, it's not only when you're in the yeshiva, the Torah is not when you are in your home, the Torah is even when you travel, when you take the plane. You know, my friend, we came with United Airlines this night, 11 hours. But for 11 hours, the television, it did not work. So they said, sorry, you know what happened? Everybody sleep. Everybody have a good shlof. You know, everybody sleep very, very well. Why? There is nothing to see. There is some people who read something, but I call upon him. Everybody, that means the tzara is so big. The tzara is. That means, the big test of a person is when you don't have television, so open a book of Torah, study Torah, le'avdil. So this is something that we have to learn. From that story, we learn that man is so Rabbi Yossi Bikisma. Me'alech baderech. What that mean, me'alech? He was walking, but he was not walking, walking without doing nothing. He was walking, he was studying Torah. And that was a big, it was very impressed, that billionaire man, because that billionaire man, that as well he was walking, but he was walking, probably he was thinking about business, probably he was talking with somebody about business, because we talk about a billionaire man. But he saw Rabbi Yossi Bikisma, he focused on studying Torah. That's what Rabbi Yossi Bikisma. One day I was walking, so what? Everybody is walking. No, but my walk was not like the walk like everybody. I was walking, studying Torah. So that man, he said, this man is serious. If you that he walk, he study Torah. So that man is very, very good. That man really, so he asked him, please, where are you from? I mean, you must be, nobody see you here. Nobody knows you here. You study Torah in the street. You don't do that for kavod. You do that for yourself. That means you are an honest man. That means that you are a tzaddik, you are a rabbi. Where are you from? So he told him, well, I am from a city of rabbis. I said, please, you are from a city of rabbis. So now we can propose him. I mean, at the beginning, when I asked him, where are you from? Because he was shocked to see somebody studying Torah in the street. So he was curious. So it was nice. You want to learn something. When you want to learn something, you can learn something. I mean, if you walk in the street, you don't know what time is it. You see somebody walking. You ask him, what time? You ask him what time. He will answer you. So that is the same. This man, he saw somebody walking, studying Torah in the street. So he told him, if you study Torah in the street, that means that you are something. Who are you? So he answered, we wish we have somebody like you in our city. Can you come to our city? And I will give you. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma did not accept. You know why? We did ask a question. Why didn't accept? No. Because he told him, I'll give you money. He didn't tell him, I'll give you a donation, or I will help you to open Yeshiva. No, I will give you to you because I like you. To you. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma told him, you want to give me the money for me? I don't need it. I have already my own money. I have the Torah. Sometimes you have to make sure how you ask the question, how you send a message. Rabbis who talk to the public, they should know how to send message to people so they can understand the message. This man, the way he talked, he talked to the rabbi, you come with me, I give you. That means I give you directly to you. I want you to be my rabbi, only for me. I give you. So the rabbi said, no. If I have to go only for you, I don't accept. No, because, okay, I wish you give me the money. Maybe with that money, I don't know what I will do with it. Maybe I will leave it. Maybe it will disturb me from studying Torah. Thank you very much. You know, my friend, I would like to say something very, very important. You know, when the Bnei Israel left Egypt, Hashem, he had to beg them to take the money. He didn't want to take them. Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hashem said to Moshe, Daberna, please beg the Jews to take money and clothes from the Egyptians. Why did they want to take? Because they said, anyway, we're going to the desert to receive Torah. What we're going to do with the money? What? We don't need the money. Hashem, all what he did for us is to give us Torah. So we prefer to receive Torah, money in the desert. We don't need it. But Hashem, he told him, yes, you need it. You have to take it. Why? Because without money, you cannot do Torah mitzvot. Because to be a Jew, you need to have money. Kosher, food, Jewish school, to build mikvaot, to build schools, to build yeshivot. You need money. So you have to take money. Rabotai, my friend, I would like just to tell you this. I would like to finish with a beautiful story. There was a man, and there were two brothers. One brother, he lived in London. The other one, he lived in Schweiz. And the one who lived in Schweiz was a billionaire. The one who was in London was a poor man. But he was religious. But he was a poor man. One day he received a telegram from the rich brother who tells him, you have to come to see me urgently, very urgently. So he went to see him. He saw that he was very, very ill. He was in bed. Only maybe few days left to live. And he told him, I know that you are a poor man. I know that you are a good man. And unfortunately, all my life I did business. Now I'm going to die. Unfortunately, I have no children. My wife, she passed away. And I have to give you all my money. But I want to make a deal with you. Give me half of your Torah. Half of your Torah. I give you all my wealth, and you give me half. Because I know something. They will ask me, why I didn't study Torah. They will ask me, why I didn't do mitzvot? And please, I know that we can do Issachar and Zvulun. We can't do that business. And the man from London, he said, my brother, I love you. I will say Kaddish for you. I will study Torah for you. But business, that kind of business, I don't accept it. I cannot give you half of my Torah. All my life, I struggle to do Torah mitzvot with your money that you give me. I need it, but thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry. So, and I ask you something. Even as a heritage, I don't need it. Because I am old like you now. So anyway, that man passed away. And his brother from London, he was upset. He said, maybe I didn't do well. Maybe I did wrong. Maybe my brother, he died because of a big pain that I caused him. I have to ask. So he went to Israel and he went to Abraham Kanievsky. That means this story, it's not an old story. It's a very, very new story. Maybe last year or 2 years ago, maybe this year. So he made an appointment. He went and he told him the whole story. Do I have to do teshuvah that I refuse this kind of business with my brother or not? You know what it was his answer? A beautiful answer. A fantastic answer. An answer that you cannot imagine. He told him, you did very well. Anyway, you could be a ganav, a thief, if you would accept. Because that kind of business, it works only if you just start to study Torah. And he help you. So that it is Sachavizu. But after that, you know all the Torah. You study Torah all your life. And he made money all his life. He become old. And you study Torah all your life. You be old with your Torah. And that kind of business doesn't work. Because that business works only if you start to study Torah and he supports you to study Torah, that other Torah that you study, it could be a good business. But now, as you are a big Talmid Chacham, you are a big rabbi, and you want to take all what you had, that doesn't work. My friend, you see, now we understand that Rabbi Yossi Kisma, he could accept yes, he could say yes, if that man would tell him, I give you a lot of money to open yeshivot, to do this, but etel lecha, I give it to you. That means he wants to be his partner. You understand? He wants to be his partner. That means I want to be all the Torah that you study, all what you learn, I want to have a share with it. He said, I'm sorry. That kind of business, I don't accept it. I don't want. Now that I am old, you want me to give you all my Torah? I don't need your money. If you would ask me 50 years ago, 40 years, when I began to study the Torah, maybe I could accept, but not now. Rabotai, after Shavuot, we have to think a little bit, how was our Shavuot? I asked Ephraim, how was Shavuot? He said, Rabbi David, fabulous, fantastic. Very good. I asked my son, how was Shavuot? Very good. I asked Avidan, how was Shavuot? Very good. But the most important, not it was very good. Is it good now? The question is now. It was good. A good Shavuot. Very good. Thank you. But what about now? Is still Shavuot now? Or it's finished? You see, Rabotai, the question that every one of you should ask.